Yeah.
Yo! What's up everyone? Welcome to a different video here on the Quads channel. You are here with Matt, aka The Vibes, and we are going to go through my deck list for my locals winning going second Purrely deck. Now, Purrely has changed a lot since the ban list because the hit to delicious is quite hectic. But yeah, the ability that the deck has to kind of OTK and then build up a really good board if you don't manage to OTK is also really crazy. So yeah, I went 5-0, really good record, only undefeated person there. It was a seriously competitive locals as well. And yeah, it was good in terms of testing because lots of meta decks are there. But I also like the fact that there are a couple rogue options as well. I mean, I played Invoked Mech Knight. Now that's not a deck I've personally played against before, so it was a nice challenge. It also made me think and learn about a couple different interactions I had with the deck and possibly even changing how my deck plays against those different matchups, those matchups against decks that you don't usually see that often. Now, coming into this last locals, I had a bit of a humbling experience. It wasn't really good for me. I was coming back with a personal vendetta. I had a poor locals on the Friday before, so I wanted to try and prove myself that I was still good with the deck because I was seriously contemplating changing the deck or what I was going to play before locals, before Euros. Now, the Purrely deck is very standard in most senses. You play 3 purple. Now I kind of prioritize this over the yellow in most senses because this is kind of where you get your continuous spell, your field spell, or even the trap. Now you really want to get the trap in terms of for follow-up, or if you want to get more quick play spells, you want to get the continuous. Now what I would maybe say is that a very underrated card in this deck is the field spell. The field spell is absolutely nuts, but we'll get into that now. We played 3 yellow. It's cracked. It's not once per turn in terms of its milling and adding effect. Really, really good. Also, both of these being level 1s, going into an anima, amazing tech in terms of disrupting the board. You play 3 Pretty Memory. Again, very standard. It's a very good combo. I love the fact that these spells are not once per turn. Really, really good. Moving on to the one that is once per turn though, is my friend Purrely. Also, solid card. I love the fact that as soon as a card gets, an Xyz monster gets sent from the field to the grave, if it's a Purrely monster, I can add up to 3 different quick play spells with different names back to my hand. So the recursion is always there. Then we've got 3 happy and 3 sleepy. Now happy is your OTK machine. It's how you can break boards with multiple monsters. And then you've got sleepy. Now sleepy isn't the greatest as a 3-of yet, but come Duelist Nexus when you get the new rank 2 monster, it is going to be absolutely insane. And then last but not least, the 1-offs. The Delicious, the card that shouldn't be at 1, but it is. The Street, the field spell, and then last but not least, the Eep. Now these 2, I would definitely consider playing at more than 1. Now, Street is amazing. Every end phase, it lets you attach a material to a Purrely X6 monster. So at the end of your turn, you can attach a Sleepy, draw an extra card. Eep is great for recursion and great for the grinding. Now, why I say this is because basically you can target 3 Purrely monsters in your grave. When this is in the grave, you banish it, and then you shuffle them into deck. It is really, really cracked. And not just that, but it makes you a norm going first, or even if you want to grind out a particularly long game, you get a norm with a lot of materials, and it will help you a lot. Now, By itself, the Purrely engine is about 21 cards. So that leaves you, or leaves me, with 19 slots. Now, in terms of hand traps and going second cards and board breakers, I think probably the most important card for me is Sketch Territory. Playing 3 Fenrir is absolutely cracked, because you summon it first as a way to get extra disruption, but then also you can use the added card as a discard to summon a level 1. It's really, really good. Also going with it, I played 3 kaijus. Now, the kaiju can be any kaiju. I just played Gamma Seal because of the attack in the level 8. So it helped a lot. Again, if you see 2, you use it as a discard. Then in terms of hand traps, I played 2. One very obvious one being Ash Blossom. 3 Ash is crazy. Ash is probably still the best card going against Banded. Ash, the Banded, and they cry. And then last but not least is a bit of a controversial thing. I've been asked a couple of times why. And I played 3 Ghost Mourner in the main. Now, Ghost Mourner is crazy. Going first, which I was made to do quite a lot. Going first, you make Noir, and this, if you bounce it back, it still burns because it leaves the field. So it's really, really crazy, and it's really, really good in terms of damage. And last but not least, you play 3 tablets. Now, these cards didn't really do much for me this locals. I'd probably change it up. Now, I've got 4 cards left. Now, these are just kind of my discard and draw engine. So I had 1 Rainbow Bridge, 1 Crystal Beast, Cobalt Eagle. This can be anyone. Just, for me, most generic. And you never really play it anywhere. And the last 2 are my draw cards. Now, I'd maybe consider cutting 1 and playing just 1, 2. I noticed that I'd open both quite often. And basically with Brow, it's a mandatory effect. So it's not very good in terms of chain blocking, as where Shadow Beast helps you chain block your level 1. In the sense that you can't really get anything in terms of Ash or something like that. They would have to Ash the Beast instead of your level 1. Now, moving on to the spice that is the extra deck. Now, a lot of Purrely players play quite a heavy Xyz engine. My Xyz engine was quite limited. I had 1 assembled Nightingale, 1 Plum. Those were kind of my 2 one-offs in terms of the small rank monsters. Then I've got 2 Happiness, 2 Beauty, and then last but not least 2 Noir. Now, those were the main Xyz monsters I went into. But then, obviously, going second, and you've got a huge tower that you have to deal with, and 1 Zeus. Now, this, I can see there's a lot of arguments for it to go to 2. I could probably play 2, but I have quite a nice Link engine as well in the deck, especially going second and breaking those boards. It's a lot. So, in terms of links, you play 1 Anima. The Anima is really, really nice. Helps you, obviously, if you kaiju someone. You summon an Anima, take the kaiju, helps you attack. You obviously play 1 Dark. Dark is cracked. Play 1 IP. 1 Sky Striker Ace Azalea. Now this I actually want to give a couple talks on, or a couple minutes on. This, as a Link monster in Purrely, is absolutely insane. Because all the Purrely monsters, or main deck monsters, are light and dark, so it helps you second to none in terms of basically targeting a card on the field and destroying it. But it also means that you'll have more than 3 spells in grave, so this doesn't get destroyed. And then last but not least is just 1 Nightmare Unicorn. The Unicorn, really, really good. And it also helps just in terms of getting rid of extra cards. You'd probably make IP with an Anima, and then you'd have a Nightmare Unicorn to disrupt on your opponent's turn. Now, my side deck is also quite spicy. quite a lot of 2-ofs. I played 2 Ghost Bowl, mainly because of the Lab matchup. This card against Lab is really good, in my honest opinion. Now, I played quite a few grind games, one of which was against Mikanko. Mikanko is a crazy deck, and the Spooky Dogwood helped me in most of the matches going into time. Obviously, against Mikanko, I did very little. Thankfully, I had Morna to burn. I had 2 Twin Twisters. Unfortunately, they are common, but the Twin Twisters really helped in terms of your back row decks, because Labyrinth is really popular in this format, so having some form of back row hate is good. Then, in terms of 3-ofs, I played 3 Dark Ruler No Mores, 3 D-Barrier, and 3 Evenly Matched. Now, I find that Evenly Matched could possibly go into the main. I'm not sure about siding it. D-Barrier I'd possibly change as well. But yeah, that is the deck list. Played 40 cards in the main, and then obviously you've got your 15 in the extra and 15 in the side. But yeah, something a little bit different on the Quabs channel. Thank you so much, Quabs, for inviting me on and letting me give a deck list. I really appreciate it. Now, if we could just like and subscribe and get my boy Quabs up to, let's try and get into the next milestone. In terms of subscribers and views, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, it's been your boy Matt. Thanks a lot. Keep well, and peace.
I feel alive, yeah. Look at me racing the time. Bitches that I'm putting on to the side. I don't owe you nothing, did it? Put a ring on your finger, I was passing the time, yeah. Hated I started with that, but anyway, niggas still on the grind. Told you that I'm coming for what is mine. Got a couple of them pages in my head, find a way to take it straight to the heart. Dotted line, I'm the bigger artist. Got my niggas that gotta play a big